Happy Tuesday, Barony fans. What a great song this is. Gosh, you gotta love Stream Beats. They really provided some bangers. I'm not really the type of person to say bangers, but here I am saying it. So, if you watched the stream yesterday, you would know that we've spent a lot of time building bridges. So, this mesh is actually heavily revised compared to the last one you saw of it. This is the wide bridge that you would see at the beginning of the game and in a few other places where a double wide bridge would be needed. And I say it that way because you can see that there's like this wrought iron brace that denotes the edge of the bridge, and when you flip this bridge around, then you've got a double wide bridge with a brace on each side. And we can extend that width with platforms like this. But there's some important changes I need to make to all of these. So you may say, hey, this bridge looks like pretty much exactly like this bridge. You know, maybe the colors are, the shading is slightly off or whatever. But yeah, it's the same thing, right? Well, that's not entirely true because friend of the project, Pegasus Epsilon, took it upon himself to take a look at this voxel model and see if he could crunch down how many colors it was using. And that turned out to be extremely helpful because thanks to my use of a texture from the game, the wood planks texture, I had way overdone it in terms of how many colors were on this thing. I didn't really think about it as I was building it, and by the time it came time to test it, I was way over my color limit, and the game wouldn't import the model. And so I was planning on just repainting it, you know, just a little bit of extra work to go in and repaint everything, you know, which is, it's a significant amount of work, but, you know, it was my mistake, and so I was ready to own it. But Pegasus decided to leap into the rescue and look at the code of the exported model file and figure out a way to crunch down the number of colors so that it would be within acceptable parameters. So I took that and then I changed some of the coloring, like on the bottom here and underneath here. On the bottom, I did this actually because the player's almost certainly never going to see it, and if they do, it's going to be in like deep shadow anyway. And so having like this low detail shadowed look is something that I've already done on the door frames. On the back sides of the door frames, they're sort of low detail like this, and so I replicated that effort on the bridge as well. So it's like, yeah, players are going to see it, and it's okay if they do see it rarely, but it's clearly not the focus of attention for the item or for the model. And so it's okay if it's a little lower detail and a little bit more suggestive rather than explicit, if you know what I mean. So yeah, he crunched down the colors. What's up, Pope? Yeah, that's right. Overtime, pretty much. He crunched down the colors, and then I repainted some of the underneaths, which were using even more colors. And then I also, once I was able to get it in game, I felt like this plank right here needed to feel like it was shadowed by the bridge itself. And so then I painted out some of the plank. And so now I'm going to use this as sort of like a master file. That I'm going to duplicate all the work that Pope and I did across the meshes, the other meshes that we made. This needs to be called, what? Bridge and R. So I need to duplicate that effort across all of these, which in some cases may mean a fairly substantial rework in just painting alone. But like this plank and these boards, I'll just be able to copy paste away. So there are worse things. So we'll get rid of the original wide bridge. It's not useful to us anymore. You can see all these unique colors down here that are completely wasted. So we'll get rid of that. This is something I'm going to actually apply to this once I've done. So this is I would like to make the brace a bit wider, so it's 4 voxels instead of 2. Just because this to me doesn't feel like a bridge brace. It's not wide enough to feel strong, like it's really holding the bridge together. So once I duplicate everything out of this bridge that I need, then I will put this brace on it at double width. And yeah, so let's start by... Oh, and we learned a few things about Voxel Shop yesterday. I can change the size of this box to 32 by 32 by 32, which is important because that's the size of a tile in Barony. So having that reference in here now is extremely useful. I also changed the color of the background to this desaturated purple because I do a lot of gray models with like steel and iron. And so this purple will only like interfere if I'm doing certain pieces of clothing, and then I can change the background color just for those. Yeah, so because this is sort of our master, this wide bridge piece, I'm actually going to move it off to the side so that I can reference it without getting in the way of other models. And by reference, I mean literally copy and paste from it. So I can plagiarize it, is what I meant to say. I was on the wrong layer. So yeah, we're going to do a little bit of boring copy pasting on the early part of this stream. But before we get to that, why don't I do you the grand pleasure of showing you what this looks like in game. Let's make all these -12. -12. And then you can see what this cool bridge looks like in game, making use of the walk tiles. Oops. We'll save that, and then we can load into Barony. Take a look at the bridge, so you can kind of get excited about why are we doing all this? Why are we here? Yeah. We gonna have fun. We gonna have fun. Okay. Let's be a, let's actually be a skeleton, so we don't starve to death. Okay, perfect. So you can see this bridge. It just looks way cooler. Even though this bridge isn't done yet, this is sort of V1 of this bridge. It looking like a floating platform is just a lot cooler. I'm really excited about it. And look how awesome I am. I'm standing on an entire bridge. Yeah, we're having a good time. Okay, so now that we have that example in the background and we've updated the map, we can start updating the meshes. So I'm gonna start by, let's create a reference layer. So we're gonna duplicate this up here. I'm gonna get rid of the brace because no other meshes will use that brace. So I need to get rid of it. Boom. And I'm gonna have to paint in the lines. That's, I mean, I kind of anticipated that this would occur, and that's just fine. So yeah, I'll just be grinding away on painting this, and then I'll open up, you know, like, center scaffold, and I'll replace all the boards, and I'll open up the narrow bridge, and I'll open up the platform, and I'll just replace the old boards with the new colored ones, and replace the old cross beams with the new colored ones. So Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a process. Not a lot of exciting decisions, but it is work that needs to get done. Now, I should be frank with all of y'all and letting you know that I really should be working on marketing assets and trailers as soon as I can. But I am certain I can get all this done today, and I don't want to abandon this work with just 8 hours of work left to go on it. So I'm gonna get it done, and then we'll worry about trailers in a minute. Some other fun things that have happened since I talked to you yesterday is that I got my Switch dev kit all hooked up, and the game is playable on the Switch dev kit, which means I can capture Switch footage, and the game's in great shape. It's got a few oddities, a few bugs in it, but it feels so at home at Switch. I'm so on Switch. I'm so excited for you guys to play. All right, and we'll get on with it. Thanks again for hanging out and for your attention. You may have noticed that that suddenly these dark brown colors appeared up here. That's because inside the model, the dark brown on the bottom was actually connected to some colors up top, and so when I used a flood fill, it went through the model and filled the same color on the top of the mesh. And that's okay. I'm just gonna paint it out. And you can see I'm kind of Sorry, I just realized that I'm reusing this one color a lot. You can see I've taken the sort of master wide bridge, and now I've broken it apart, and I'm now painting a new sort of master platform here that doesn't have the braces on it, and that this plank is completely separate as its own asset, and that way I can copy and paste them as needs be to fix the other models that now have too many colors, or that I know now have too many colors. Okay, so platform is going to be a real easy one. Really the only differences between these two, now that I've cleaned them up, is where the support beam goes and the fact that there's 2 bolts on the bottom. So we'll replace these one at a time so I don't lose track of what is where. Who's who and what's what. Okay, and you can see just like that, I've taken the old broken platform that uses too many colors, and now I have successfully replicated it as one with the correct amount of colors and the new sort of color scheme with the shadows in the right places. So now that I have this generic platform, things actually might go quite a bit quicker because of how many are using that. That's not true. I'll continue to use this reference above, which is actually extremely handy. I'm gonna move this to the side because I know we've got those tall platforms. Yeah. So this one's gonna be a little tricky because we have these side beams and the poles. I'm gonna go ahead and just replace the top and sides like I did with the platform, and then see how many colors I'm using for these wood posts, because I may have to go on a repainting mission for these wood posts. They're very they have a lot of shading on them, and they might be excessive in terms of their color usage, so we're just gonna do our best. And okay, that's aligned to that edge, and then I'm just taking a look at where this lines up. I think I'm 2 voxels out on either side, so I can get rid of this. I'm actually not worried about the cross beams or the support diagonal beams because I hand painted those, so they're using, I'm certain they're using probably like 8 colors or something. And we're just getting rid of this section because I do want to keep the iron brace that I put in there. The iron brace is actually not where it should be. Let's grab that and move it in. Like this. Beautiful. I'm on the wrong layer. Okay. So now we're going to put in these beams. Okay, so we've updated this mesh. I dare say it looks better thanks to the shadowing that I put in. There's less inconsistencies there. And now I just need, I'm gonna go ahead and save this. I need to, so you see down here I'm wiggling my mouse around where the palette is. This is the palette of the wide bridge. And that's how many colors I'm using. So to make sure I'm not overdoing it on colors with the posts here, I'm gonna do a quick get. Yeah, as you can see, the posts are taking up a lot of colors. So I think I'm gonna I think the right thing to do, the wise thing to do, is to go ahead and repaint the posts. Now there is some consequences to that. I've used those posts in, this model as well. And so I'm gonna have to find a clean way to get, actually what I should do is repaint these posts because they're less compromised by the mesh. So as you can see, where are you? Narrow bridge. You can see the back sides of these posts are sort of compromised by the planks. The other posts are not. And so I'll repaint those, and then I'll duplicate them over these posts, and we'll have consistent coloring between them. All right, let's make this scaffold better. Make scaffold great again. Sorry, I'm trying to be funny. this should be very straightforward. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want. And then we'll copy in this guy. Okay, we've done the simple part of getting rid of the previous planks. And now we're gonna repaint the poles. And I'm gonna do what I can to reuse colors that are on this already. Because that'll reduce our overall color count. And in case I wasn't clear about this, every voxel model can only use 256 colors or else it won't load into the game properly. Even Magica Voxel won't load it. Only only Voxel Shop seems to be able to understand overzealously painted meshes. So yeah, that's why it's important for me to manage my colors here. You know, there's an art style argument to be made as well. Like, too many colors is like antithetical to the sort of pixel art style. That's true, you know, effectively. But what the problem was with the previous models was not that there was too many colors stylistically, because so many of the colors were almost identical to one another. So like you couldn't even tell the difference between them. So it wasn't really a style issue. It really is just a technical issue. Okay. What up, Mannequin? Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. As you can see, we're doing a little repainting today. Too many colors on this stuff. Sorry. So we're going to get this repainting done on these, which will allow me to import these models into the game because I used too many colors. It's funny, I know inside my mind, deep inside my soul, that I could just paint one of these poles, but for some reason I'm compelled to paint them both. I can paint one and then duplicate it, but for some reason I can't stop painting the second one. Maybe if I deleted it, I would be free of this madness. In fact, I should just do that. I'm just gonna delete it. Spare me. Obsessive, compulsive, voxel artist. And I can just dupe it over and everything will be perfect. Okay. Yeah, and I'll have solved oddities like this as well on the other one. Might be kind of hard to get paint into some of these spaces and then select them for duplication, but we're gonna give it our best. No, that's not what we wanted. That's what we wanted. All right, getting rid of that. Dink. All right, so now we have one post to paint. And then we'll reuse that post. We'll put it in the ref area out here, this space. Good day, Garvikin. Thanks for coming to hang out. If it's not obvious what I'm doing, it's repainting. I'm repainting to use less colors and use them more purposefully. Because due to my carelessness in using images to serve as the basis of the models, the result is that they have so many colors in them from the images that the game literally cannot load them. And that's on me. That's on me. There's no reason why any model needs to have 256 colors. It's just there was minor, like, very subtle, imperceptible differences in color tone in the images that I was using that are the tile images for the game, the game's textures. And so I'm just going to do a better job at making sure I'm being purposeful in my color usage. The inside of this should be notably darker than the outside. I might need to... I probably won't need to repaint these again, actually. I'll just need to flip them depending on their use case. We're just trying to find some marginally darker colors to start shading in a little more nuanced fashion down here. So what I'm deliberately trying to do here is, simulate the pole getting darker and darker as it descends into the pit, and because the game doesn't do that automatically, it does that for wall textures, but not for, for models. The way that models shade in Barony is rather interesting, because it's a lot different than how meshes are shaded. And hold on a sec, let me grab some colors. This is our next color that we're going to use. All right, perfect. So the way that Barony uses some good, like, sort of smooth lighting on the environment, but not on meshes, on like voxel models. And I am glad for that, because I think the models would look measurably worse if you were to like make it so every voxel shaded independently. You'd get these like highlights on the edge corners of every voxel, and the inside edges of voxel shapes would get really dark, and it would make the characters look more like Legos than sort of sprites. And I really like the kind of sprite quality that Barony's characters have, where they look like 2D characters, but then they turn and you can see that they're actually 3D. I think that's a huge strength of our art style. And that strength would definitely go away if you were to light the models like the environment is lit. If that makes sense. But the way that the lighting for the models does work is that it just and Wall of Justice confirmed this for me last night, is that it just tests the sorry, I'm like distracted. It tests the tile for how much lighting the tile is getting, and then uses that to decide how bright the mesh should be. And the entire mesh gets lit to that level. And so, yeah, I mean, what that means is that a model in the game is only one lightness level ever. And so if I want to have an effect of like the shading going all the way down to the bottom, it means I have to paint that in. And you said it reminds me. When you said Lego, it reminds me of how an NPC looks in Oblivion. That's really funny. Yeah, Oblivion NPCs are not handsome. They're pretty hideous. Okay, I'm gonna save my spot right here. I really gotta hit the restroom real quick. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, I've returned. Thank you for your patience. Not that there's anything else you could... Well, I guess you could have left. Thanks for not leaving. Scree! Is the bridge part going to be in the UI update? Yeah, that's right. It's kind of funny how much stuff has been kind of jammed into the being part of the UI update and as sort of its identity. Because it ain't, you know, there's a lot of things in here that aren't, you know, really UI related. But it's just because as, you know, when the UI update project first started about 2 years ago. It was my job to redesign all the screens in wireframe format, just using, like, you know, graphic design tools. Like, here's my proposal for how it should behave, and this is, this is what it would look like if it were behaving that way. And so I got done with that part quite some time ago, and there's definitely been redesigns of some menus since then, so I'm not saying that, you know, everything was done and perfect then from the design end. But that was my primary task for a time. And then that stopped being my task because it became time to do the pixel art and programming for those things. And so there's all this content now that is accompanying the UI overhaul because, you know, it's important that I add cool stuff to the game instead of sitting around doing nothing. How many bridge parts are you gonna make? I think just the ones I have here are what I'm gonna have. So we have the standalone floating platform. We have the ones that are mounted to the side of a cliff. That's what I'm calling scaffold. The narrow bridge, which is starting from the edge of a cliff going perpendicular to it. So that's different from the scaffold because the scaffold is parallel, whereas the narrow bridge is perpendicular. And then the corners, so that bridges can turn around cliff edges. And then we're going to have 2 bridge end or drawbridge end pieces for the wide bridge for the entrance. And then we're going to have the wide piece that makes up the body of the bridge. Yeah, I'm really excited about it myself. Like, every time I play the game and, like, I play with my new content showing up in the game, it's just like, it's very satisfying. Really adds a lot to the experience. I guess I'm trying to put that as humbly as I can, but it's like, it really makes a big difference, all that new content. All right. Okay. So now that I've assigned sort of the main colors here, I'm going to go through and actually add some detail because this is just too smooth and it looks bad. So I'm going to mix up where the shading occurs so that it looks more like it has some wood grain to it. Also fun and interesting watching BTS on your streams. BTS, isn't that Korean pop group? Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not sure what BTS is in this context. What's up, Pegasus? Good to see ya. I already told the whole stream how cool you are. Any more models need palette crushing? No, so what I've done... Oh, behind the scenes. Thank you, Garfican. BTS, goodness sakes. This right here, I've repainted the bottoms of these elements because there's a lot of unique colors on there that were unnecessary. But the top of them, or the fronts of them, we're using your crushed solution. So Pegasus, you give me a great place to, I guess, kind of jump off from. And then I've been copying and pasting these elements, which are using the new palette that you helped create, and deleting the corresponding pieces in the other meshes and then replacing them. So, like, not this one. This one is already. I've already duplicated the elements and pasted them in so that they're using the new palette. So right now, the majority of what I've got left here is painting these poles, which they were kind of ugly anyway. So I think it was a good opportunity for me to go back and revisit these poles. So I'm repainting these poles manually in this, and then I'll duplicate those to the narrow bridge. But yeah, thank you for offering. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I've got this covered now. All right, I'm looking for something slightly lighter than this. That might be the right shade. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, once I finish repainting these poles, it won't be long until I'm basically done repainting these, and then I'll start placing them in levels. I think it's already looking a lot cleaner. quite nice, if I do say so myself. Alright, so we got our log that we need now. I don't know if that'll descend as neatly into the inky blackness as my previous version, because it's got quite a bit more color and saturation in it than the previous version. But I think it's, you know, it's worth a shot. We'll get, because we're using far fewer colors. In fact, I think maybe the last 3 colors on here, list 3 shades here, are the only things I added to the palette. So if I grab this, let's go ahead and clear the palette. Doesn't look that much better. Let me try deleting the interior of this mesh. Let's replace it with black, because that'll probably create the least amount of color conflict. I'm going to edit, erase interior, and edit fill interior. Good, good. And then now we're gonna grab this and then get the palette from it. Okay. The logs have indeed added more color, as did these cross planks, but I don't know how many colors this is. I can't, there's not like a quick way for me to count that. But it is like 50% more colors. That's what it looks like to me. So, you know, some of it I think is coming from these shadows up here. Why don't we paint these out? Because they're not terribly necessary anyway. Yeah, I mean, I can see some of the things I did here was that I duplicated the palette and then darkened it for the inside shadow of this. I remember explicitly doing that, which is not an unusual technique for me. And so I can get rid of some of the colors by, like, now those 4 gray shades will never show up in my palette, which is better. Redundant painting. Okay. Now if we clear this again, clear, get. That's quite a bit better. Not a ton better, but enough. Hopefully enough. I may go ahead and load this model into the game just to make sure. Well, let's make sure our painting isn't awful first, shall we? Step 1, ensure painting isn't garbage. You know what? I should do what I did here. So I'm gonna save, and I'll just paint the insides of this all one color, like I did. Because this is detail you're not gonna see, and if you're gonna see it, then I want it to feel like it's low detail shadow space. Shadow space. It's a cool name for a game. Does the tool palette over there not have hotkeys? Not that I know of. I haven't really experimented by randomly button mashing, but yeah, it's actually been kind of a headache how many misclicks I've had because I think I've clicked a tool and then it hasn't clicked properly, and then so I have to go click it again after wasting some more clicks. So yeah, if you hover over them and stuff, there's no hotkeys. You know, there's a lot of people really prefer Magical Voxel over Voxel Shop, and I'm guessing it's like quality of life stuff like that that is informing that decision. For me, just the core tool set of Voxel Shop is so much better that I'm willing to look past stuff like that. Yeah, you know, it has shortcomings. I definitely agree with that. But in terms of like the interface and the kind of power I have in model editing, it's just, it has more of what I need, and so I'm kind of willing to put up with some of the inconveniences, which is just like, you know, it is what it is, I guess. By the way, whenever somebody says it is what it is to you, look at them square in the eyes and say, no, it's not, just to see what happens. I strongly recommend this course of action. Highly advisable. No, it's not. Just see what they do. Noise bridge. Hey, what's up, Rix? Thank you. It's a scaffold that's going to be along the edges of cliffs. And then we have ones like this, which are going outward perpendicular from cliffs. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this work. Save. Actually, now that I've saved it, what happens when I press the F keys? What the heck? What is this? Snap. Okay. F3, 1, F4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Q, W, E, L, F, P, F. Oh, we got F for sample. Oh, C? Okay, we're learning. Oh, okay. Oh, I must have turned off the hotkeys. Okay, X. T. X, T for paint. I mean, I would change this if I could. X for select, T for paint tool, G for flood fill, F for color picker. I think F and C are the ones I'll actually use. Yeah, thanks for asking the question to motivate me to just mash buttons. I'm actually not that great at learning. Like, if something's working, I don't go out of my way to change it. Which is, you know, I like to just get good at the way I know how to do things. And I think that has benefits because it means that my expertise increases rather rapidly on a single axis. But when it comes to like figuring out new ways and new inefficiencies or new efficiencies, I'm pretty slow to pick up that kind of thing. I would say that I'm an artist, not a craftsman, when it comes to using tools like this. So we're gonna get rid of all that. And get rid of this. Yeah, like Magic of Voxel, in my opinion, is really not made to make the kind of art that we make for Barony. It's kind of made to make beautiful voxel scenes that aren't really used for anything other than just like make pretty voxel art. And like, I don't know if this is controversial, but like, oh, you know what? I'm actually going to put this into the reference. We have a cross beam that's going into the reference now. Boom. We're going to have the log that goes into the reference now. Or the log pole post, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so this is our kit. Now we have a kit. Okay. Like, there's a lot of people, especially programmers I know, who are like, I just love learning. And there's something very righteous about that, but I don't love learning for the sake of learning. I love creating. And so if I have to learn in order to create, I'm excited to do that. If I learn something and it lets me create more stuff, then I'm excited about that. But if I'm learning for the sake of learning, I'm very bad at that. And I was actually in an interview once when they asked me what one of my weaknesses, give me a weakness like you do in any interview. And I was like, and I listed that. And they're like, wow, that doesn't sound, why don't you give me a real weakness? That doesn't sound like a weakness. It sounds like you just don't like wasting time and you prefer, being efficient using what you already know rather than reinventing the wheel every time. I'm like, that's not untrue. But it's a generous way to view it, because sometimes a project requires a new method of doing things. And if I don't personally see the benefit that it adds to the project by changing how things go, then I am resistant. Like, I resist change on those things. And I'm speaking to us in as self-aware of a way as I can, that I'm just like, I'm not proud of this. It's just like, the time I spend learning how to do something new, I'd rather spend making more stuff. And that's just part of who I am as a creator, and I am okay with that. Especially because, like, if there's a legitimate obstacle, or if, like, the benefits to learning are easy to identify and describe, like, I'm not resistant to learning in those contexts. But it's like, hey, you know that thing that you already know how to do? Do it this different way. And I'll be like, why? And they'll be like, because I told you to. Because the rest of the team is doing it. I'm like, those are inadequate reasons. I need better reasons. If someone you regarded as a visionary leader told you that a change had to happen for the benefit of the project, would you resist that? I mean, that's the question. Like, have I ever met a visionary leader that commanded that kind of respect? That I could just unquestioningly obey their judgment? I feel like I've never worked for somebody that had that level of credibility. Like, the most visionary leaders I've worked with have never sort of earned carte blanche to be like, because I say so. The reason why they're visionary leaders and have a lot of credibility is because they don't have to do that. They can explain in very clear terms the benefits of the new method that they're proposing. And so if they just want me to say, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir, how high shall I jump, sir? Then I would have to be working with the kind of legend that you only meet once every generation, Like somebody whose expertise is so undeniable that I defer to their every decision because that's how much I admire and respect them. And I just don't know that if I've ever worked with anyone like that. Not because I'm very great, but because almost nobody is that great. You know what I mean? Not really about unquestioning, but you don't see it, but can realize that maybe you don't see it, but they do. I can definitely respect that we all have different strengths, and as a result, different expertises, and as a result, then people may, I might be able to say, I acknowledge that I lack the expertise to make this decision by myself, and so I will trust you, and that's definitely within my capability to acknowledge. It's just, especially if it has to do with my work, it's likely that I have that I don't have to just go on their word. Now, are you with John Carmack about FPS design, for example? The man knows the arena far better than me. I have huge respect for John Carmack, but that said, his main wheelhouse is engine programming. And since him and John Romero split up, none of the games they've made have been nearly as awesome as Doom was. So, like, when it came to rendering technology, I would definitely listen to Carmack. But also, rendering technology is not my wheelhouse. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a satisfying answer. I need to export this as bridge scaffold. Export. Yes. Game designer, I'd argue with him. He only really knows FPS, from what I've seen. Quake was not trash. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Like, the Quake series is incredible, and I certainly wouldn't call it trash. But, like, who was leading on the level design and stuff for that? Like, I guess my argument is that John Carmack isn't really like a game... He's a game technology leader. He built the best game engines in the industry. But he was not a level designer. Like, he was not a combat designer. I suppose some elements of the controls and whatnot you could attribute to his controls implementation. So there's definitely some stuff to be said. So if he said something about like the nature of precise controls, I think I would definitely listen to him, and wouldn't need to question it. Okay. So I thought that repainting the interior of these side planks would, I thought it would reduce a lot more colors than it did. But let's go ahead and see if I can import this into the game. Let's go ahead and open our models folder, or models text file. Edit Notepad++. You can look at the model to see if it exported properly. Yeah, the file size. Yeah, bridge platform. Let's take a quick look. It's only 1 kilobyte, so that's... Oh wait, bridge scaffold. No, it's 41 kilobytes, so it does look like it exported properly. So let's look at scaffold. That's going to be number 180 or 1182. And so we can put this here. And then might as well make it walkable. A broken export will be 12 bytes. I've actually got... Oh, that makes sense, yeah. Windows is rounding up to 1 kilobyte, which is quite an egregious roundup if we're thinking in terms of the actual amount that's been assumed. I find that kind of funny. Let's do this. No whammies, no whammies. Hey, opa! Oh, and that looks great. Of course, it's the wrong amount of voxels different. Yeah, 1 kilobyte minimum. I get their perspective. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so this is facing east-west as it should. So just so that we can see it as intended, let's go ahead and reduce the height by another, oh, I don't know, 30. And then we're gonna have it facing, oh, let's try that. Yeah, that should actually be correct. Beautiful. Okay. Look at that. Oh, all right. So it's a couple voxels too low, or sorry, a couple. Let's just figure this out because it'll help me in the future. Let's just try 40. It might need to be 38. And I kind of want to see how like a string of them looks. Gosh dang it. Pencil. Save. Restart game. Okay, that was the correct amount of voxels.
Someone new.
Huh. So, the fact that it's a lot shorter than the... Like, it doesn't go down nearly as far as the rest of the tiles do. Well, I thought it was quarters 2, Pegasus, but I moved it down by 2, and it lowered by 1 voxel. So, well, that's what it appeared like to me. Because it's so tight that you can't see the edge of these. Oh, okay. All right, I don't know what you're talking about that. Oh, you're talking about the file system stuff. 2 supports between tests. So close together. Oh, goodness sakes. I really don't want to worry about that. 1 quarter support, 2 quarters support, evenly spaced. Well, the reason why I don't want to worry about it is because the way that it's placed right now, they always look good on the edge of the cliff. Like, it always looks like it's, you know, a cap. And the only time it's not going to look like a cap is when it's hidden underneath the scaffold, and so you're almost never going to see it. So I'm just trying to blow out how many models I'm using and some efficiency, you know. Let's take away some of these torches so you can see how they get lit. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm excited about that. So I do think what I need, I do think I need to extend the posts down further though, because they just stop. And I could do that in a few ways. Like I could make like a round iron cap or something on the end of it, so it looks like it's just mounted in the wall. Or I could make it descend so far that it goes into the blackness. Or you know, I could just leave it as is. It doesn't look wrong per se, but I'm not a big fan of how that looks. So I've got to make a decision here. 4 blocks of fade on the posts. You could consider the entire support structure and cantilever it into the wall. Yeah, I mean, effectively get rid of the logs. I just spent all that time doing that, though. I don't think I want to do what you've proposed, even though there's some wisdom in it. Yeah, especially because I'm going to be using the one of the things I wanted to do... Yes, so Pegasus, you've just pointed out, which popped into my mind, and that is that I want to be able to use these bridges in the middle of a void, and so they actually do need to go all the way down. And so let's do SVF, no clip. So I need to, looks like I've got like a long ways to go down there. But what I'm gonna try is I'm just gonna try to go for like raw black and see if I can finish this off that way. And of course that means I'm gonna have to lower it by even more because of how our model offset system works. Okay, this is I think this is gonna work out. Like the fade to perfect black there looks fine to me. So what this is gonna create is like a little bit of a silhouette against the wall, but that's it. I'm gonna have to add this part to the kit mesh as well. Let's do it like this and see where that leaves us. Perfect black would only work in the void. Can you make a suggestion? Yeah, go nuts. Although the only time you would ever see this is when it's descending into the void. Like, the only time you'd ever see this far down, because nothing else displays that low in the whole game. Is the tile vertically lit the same? Yes, it is. How many voxels did I add here? So baking shadows to avoid engine limitations. Exactly, exactly. all meshes are lit with a single light value. So whatever is the light value of the tile they're in, that's the light value of the mesh. Yeah. And for what it's worth, I'm fine with that. But it's just, it just means that our options here are limited. And extending it this far actually with a single color is not gonna, it does not blow out our polygon counts in any negative way. I believe I added 16 voxels, so I'm gonna go into the editor and move this downward by 56 instead, and see if that works. We're gonna load models. Solid spans will coalesce in the model loader to a single poly. Yes, that's nice. I'm glad you know that. Okay, and then we're just gonna reload the level. Oh, and it looks like my math was correct on the amount of voxels I needed to lower it by. Feeling pretty fancy. And actually, I can be a little more artful in my shading because I think this looks messy. I'll go ahead and push it down like 2/3 into the black. So like maybe like right here is when it should be perfectly black. Something like that. And actually, I'll go ahead and export this and see how that looks. This is not how I'm gonna finally shade it. But you can see I've like really aggressively gradated this out here, so there's only like 1 to 2 voxels per color grade, and I can be a lot more generous with that, with how much you can actually see into the pit, so that this shading will appear smoother. It'll up the poly count a little bit, but not by much. All right, let's export this and back to Barony and load models. Okay, so if I shade, it's funny how bad that looks in this context, but that is about the right height when it starts being like black. I told you I worked on the loader for like a week and a half. Yeah, you did tell me that. All right, I'm just gonna do some grunt shading work here. There actually is a symmetry mode. I just haven't really used it much. Yeah, it looks like it works perfectly. That's really funny. I was just gonna cut out. I was just gonna cut and paste it. You know. It's funny how many of these tools I'm just ignoring. Alright, so let's see how this looks. You can see some striations there, but I think it should look pretty natural. So let's just cut it off here. Boom. Like 3D Studio Max has a symmetry feature that I was trained to use when I went to school. But I found that for the most part, I really preferred the amount of control that manual duplication gave me, particularly in how things seem together. And so maybe that's why I formed this habit of doing it this way. But I don't think that's a great justification for me, by the way, because I didn't really evaluate it in this context to see how much better or worse it would be. Alright, let's see how this looks. It's a little sparkly towards the bottom. I think I'd get rid of some of those sparkles that are in the black. Otherwise, I think I'm pretty happy with it. You could always do it in true color and then let you crush it. Don't be crazy, Pegasus. You're a funny cat. I don't know, maybe there's something endearing about having those sparkles at the bottom there. It's a little bit of a... I mean, it's definitely like a pixel aesthetic to have some dithering like that. And you're only going to see it when you're looking at one like that. Like, there's literally no way to see it while you're on the scaffold. So maybe I like this. Maybe I want to leave this as is. I think we're gonna leave it. I think we're gonna leave it because there's some. You can see some dithering in the wall textures and stuff too. I don't think it looks out of place. All right, so we're gonna replace the post in our kit so that this new bottom is represented. Copy. Instead of calling this ref, I'm gonna call it kit. Kit, because that's what it is. Paste. We're gonna move you. What is the move? Oh yeah, X for select. And I'm gonna. I see where I'm gonna paste it. Actually, before we do this, let's go ahead and delete where we're gonna paste it onto. So, right here. Getting rid of that, and we're adding on this. Is that facing the right direction? I think I need to flip it. I think that's the right direction. No, it was right before. It was right before. Okay, there we go. We have a post kit. Save. Wonderful. Do me a favor and put one next to the bridge on the door side. You just want to see it over there? Like right here. And we're gonna face it going west. I'm curious what you want to see here. Are you happy with the vertical adjustment, or will you alter the model? I think I'd rather keep the vertical adjustment because the only way for me to alter the model. So you want to see it against that backdrop? Is that what you're saying here? Yes, you did. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look quite as good against the bright gray, but I think that is going to be something that will rarely happen. I don't know. Maybe I'll adjust the models later. But yeah, the thing is that the only way to add empty space above the model is for me to add empty voxels in Magica Voxel, and I would rather keep this exportable, cleanly exportable from Voxel Shop instead. Yeah, and I think this is the kind of situation where what's expected that you'll see is that the scaffold is deeply shadowing the tiles there, and it's never going to do that. And so the vast majority of cases where I'm going to have these things are going to be in cases where either there's no floor or it's up against a dirt wall. So it should be pretty dark in most cases. Wouldn't be against this kind of stone tile, I don't think. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, so now that we have that and we confirmed that the palette is correct, we need to do this corner. We need to do the narrow bridge, which actually we can completely construct from kit now. It looks like I already constructed some of this from kit, and I just didn't redo the logs or the side beams yet, so I'll do those. I'm actually gonna not dupe this again yet. Let's go ahead and delete the post, because that's what I'm supposed to do. These are the jokes, people. Thank you for noticing. I just realized I really do need to cut out a spot for the beams here because I am not accounting for them properly. So... is this 4 across? Okay, so... and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. Okay, so I need to cut it like a 4x7 chunk out of the left side of this. There's no redo button in Voxel Shop. Okay, we have successfully created the narrow bridge, or I should say recreated the narrow bridge mesh from the component parts, which is great. Looks awesome. 10 out of 10. So let's save this, export, bridge narrow, export. All right, and then in the editor, let's do something silly like this, and then bridge narrow is model ID number 1180. So okay, and then actually I think this needs to be north and the other one needs to be south. Okay. Okay, and then restart level.
Someone new.
Beautiful. Alright, that's exactly what we wanted. Now let's make the platforms so that... actually, the platform is done. I just don't know if I exported it. Alright, this is done. Yep, that's done. Bridge platform is what we're called. Export. Okay, and that is model number 1181. It needs to be facing south. Oops, 181. Okay. Beautiful. Save. Load models. And we're gonna refresh this again. Yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, the lighting doesn't look awesome in a situation like this, but it's doing its job. This is exactly what we want it to look like. It's awesome. Very happy with that. And in fact, I didn't think about it, but there's no reason I can't butt these up side by side here so that we can see what we're not gonna have a nice transition, but yeah.
Another mortal module set.
Yeah, this is a situation where the two posts side by side don't look awesome. You can have that concession from me if you want, Pegasus. Planks will turn suddenly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's not like an odd, that's like normal construction too for scaffolds too, right? It's not that odd. But I will make a corner piece regardless to go on. This is what like an inside corner? Outside corner? This is what an inside corner looks like. I'm like pretty psyched about this. Feels very different. Feels like a great new add to the game. And then we're gonna recreate the corner piece, and then what else do we have left? The corner piece. Oh, and then the remaining bridge pieces. Turn off the platform. Scaffold is done. There are a few things you could do, but I think you're satisfied. I think you're satisfied with what you got. I agree that I am satisfied. Thank you. So the corner scaffold piece needs to be done, and I'm gonna build some more bridge pieces. And surprise, surprise, I'm gonna build a chain mesh so that the drawbridge looks like it's held up by a chain. So real quick, I need to take another quick break, and I will be back in a moment. Thank you for your patience. All right, I have returned. I see that Pegasus, you've done some commenting. If it was me, I'd design like 20 tiles just for wooden bridges. Yeah. Well, you do you, homie. There's so much other stuff that I want to add to the game that I can't justify spending that long on this. I'm supposed to be doing marketing stuff right now, and 6 bridge tiles or whatever this is gonna have to be enough for me because I got to get this done. Getting bogged down as a consideration, yeah. Yeah, but then level design would be a pain. It would be. It absolutely would be. Especially because the decor tile is all this same grass tile here. And so there's no way to distinguish them without looking at them. And then all it shows you is the model textured ID. And so even as it is, it's already going to be a pain in the neck. Can you mirror tiles when you load them into the game, or do you need 2 tiles? You cannot mirror things in the game, no. No, you can't. You can only rotate meshes, and you can't rotate tiles. I'm doing marketing right now. I suppose by streaming, this is an element of marketing. I understand what you mean. Okay, so we're gonna pretty much have to redo this one, which is fine, because I'm not gonna be able to save the top part of this. I was thinking more about this corner piece throughout the evening yesterday, and I think I can successfully put this in the proper place. And I think I do like the idea of leaving the corner piece off, which is something that you suggested, Pegasus, to get rid of the little itty-bitty piece. I think in general it would make it look more dynamic and interesting, the corner pieces, because otherwise you probably wouldn't even notice that you're on a corner piece, and so I kind of like it being more noticeable. Adding the ability to flip meshes for a tile would be a good thing. You could have asymmetrical tiles that do something fun when flip next to each other. I mean, you're not going to find any argument for me, but there's also really nothing that I can do about that, unfortunately. It's definitely a cool feature request, but it's just not something we support right now. Okay, so yesterday, what I did, let's go ahead and move. I'm still gonna reference this corner piece here, because these are placed in a way that I think is useful, but I'm gonna try to imitate what I did yesterday, and that is capture the 45-degree selection of this and then just rotate it. It made it very fast to put together. Should put it on the list and give it to the guys? Oh yeah, sure. I mean, you should see the current wish list. It's pretty enormous. But yeah, it couldn't hurt to have it on a list somewhere. I've proposed a lot of things to the game. Most of them result in new gameplay content, though, not new like editor features. Just because I'm pretty focused on the player experience, as far as that goes. Little. Okay. Pretty sure that's what I did. This is what I did yesterday. Something like this. Oh no, we have a gap. I'm just gonna take a quick look-see. Okay, I'm gonna split this in a different direction so that I can... Let me see. I've only got one edge. So I'm kind of over-analyzing here. That's correct. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get with a simple copy paste. Now I've got to fill in some of the gaps. It's funny, I don't remember having to fill in the gaps last time. Maybe my selection was just a little more precise last time. It's okay. It's not like it takes a long time to deal with. Now, this is the... Now I'm recalling that hold on a second. Did I just destroyed my, goodness sakes. I just destroyed my my kit piece. I can't do that. I cannot be doing it like that. I'm glad, honestly, I'm just glad I caught that in time. So we'll move this back. We'll move this back to the kit. So silly. Kit is kit. It needs to stay part of the kit. And we copy it over here. Copy. And then we turn off the kit so we don't make that mistake anymore. Why can't I zoom out? Okay. Decapitation! Hey, what's up, Ink? Thought you drop in for an hour? Well, awesome. As you can see, I'm kind of continuing the bridge work. Now that I have a model where the palette is the correct amount of colors. And this is the last model I need to sort of rework thanks to my mistakes from yesterday. And then I'm gonna make a big chain for the drawbridge at the front of the mine. Okay, that looks good. Confirm that you do. Did your background change in Magic? This is Voxel shop, and yes, I did change it. The gray would occasionally cause problems for metal and stone, and so this is definitely the right way to do it, is to have a different color back there. Yeah. Don't worry, Pegasus did the same thing yesterday. And it's okay. I think I'm the only one that really obsesses over Voxel Shop. Nobody else really cares about it. I really prefer Voxel Shop quite a bit. This color's more pleasing with the eyes. It's good. Yeah, I agree. It's less harsh. We did discover a bug in Voxel Shop yesterday. It will export things at the wrong, with an invalid palette, without any warning. Just silently exports it wrong. And Pegasus helped me save some work by manually crunching down the palette in the code of the data file, of the exported Voxel Shop file. Pretty big help. And that's made today's work go by quite a bit more smoothly. The only thing I manually repainted is the posts on the back of the scaffold and narrow bridge meshes. I automated it but it's not ready for you to run because Windows. Yeah, fair enough. Important distinctions. I think that part might have happened at the very end of the stream, Inc. And then the part with Pegasus helping me was post-stream in private messages. I've uploaded a video on your Dovaculus impression. Uses custom code, image magic, Optiping, and more custom code all wrapped up in a shell script. That's so awesome, dude. That's so cool. I almost hate that I don't have more to use it on. The big bad of Brutal Legend. Oh, I see. Let's go ahead and get rid of this guy right there. No time like the present. I don't think I'm actually going to fix the underneath. Mostly because I don't feel like it. Should leave the corner for my kit. Take it out for the model if you want, but you'll appreciate it existing in the kit later, I bet. Maybe. Only heard it Empire of Terror. Ink, I'm sure we would love to have a lot more people working for us, but we can't even afford to have the 3 of us that are working now. And by that I mean, unless we get more money, we are going, like, we're gonna run out of money, and some of us might have to find another job, and we'll keep working like we were for the previous years. So got to love the contributions of y'all, in whatever capacity, you know, like unending gratitude. But there's just like, dang it didn't preserve my painting. Oh well. I have not been offered a job, he says. In a roundabout fashion, I work for Turning Wheel anyway. I personally can work for free for you guys. Yeah, and that's another challenge of being a small studio, is that, like, because there's only 3 of us, if anybody else is working for us, that means we have to split some of our time managing what we want from them. It's a complicated situation when it comes to getting more contributors. But I guess what I want to say is that you both have our undying gratitude for what you've done so far. And you know, like, Wall of Justice started as an open source modder for the game. So I guess you never know what could happen if you're really dedicated. I know that Wall of Justice worked for multiple months without being included on any pay, and now he works full time, so I'm not trying to tempt anyone to, you know, working for free, because I think that's sort of, you'll see that on, like, newbie game teams on the internet a lot. They'll try to recruit people and say, oh yeah, you'll work for free for now, but then later when we strike it rich, then we'll pay you, or you'll own a portion of the company, and so then you'll make money. And I don't want to do any of that. I'm just giving you a brief history of, like, how the team has gotten to where it is now. Both Wall of Justice and I were free contributors to the game. And once it turned out to be a good idea to include our stuff in the base package, we were brought on board, effectively. Of course, I kind of, like, I deliberately sought to be part of the team. Like, I asked Sheridan if I could contribute my efforts, and that was meaningful at the time because the team had no professional art background, and so I was offering something to the team that they just literally did not have. So it's a little different trying to join the team now. Like, if somebody had, like, a business and marketing skill set, and then they proved that they could do a big portion of that work and lead us to success in that way, then, you know, we would probably be excited to bring them on board. I don't know, like, this is, like, a really organic subject, and I just don't want there to be any misunderstanding about how this all happens. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm making any promises or anything like that, because it all kind of happens gradually over time. These kinds of work relationships, and it's literally just this year that the 3 of us went full time, because before this we could not afford it, and we're at a point right now where by going full time we're going to be able to launch on the Switch sooner, and that represents a new, like, a substantial new revenue stream for us, and so it made sense for us to invest full time for the three of us. But literally nobody before that worked full time. I guess with the possible exception of Sheridan. Yeah, I mean, I didn't start launching into that story thinking that I was going to share it. I just sort of talked into it because we're talking about the financial history of the product, and you know, like, we don't have any investors. Like, the closest thing we have to an investor is the Kickstarter, which gave us $40,000. And I don't know about you guys, but last I checked, $40,000 was not enough to pay professional game developer salaries, let alone 3 of them. And so, you know, we're very grateful for the Kickstarter money, and it has enabled us to do some things to have a bigger nest egg. Thanks to the Kickstarter. But you can't run a company off $40,000. You just can't. Not with more than one person, anyway. And so I'm just kind of explaining why the idea of just like hiring people is not easy. It took a very big commitment for me personally to work full time, because I've got a family of 5 depending on me. You know, like, if this doesn't go well, I'm looking for another job, and you know, if my income doesn't come in, then like my family suffers. So we just gotta be responsible in how we do all this. We can't throw our money away casually. Plumber class gets a pipe wrench for his default weapon. Oh yeah, also used to fix broken sinks. Allows you to teleport between sinks on the same level. Friendly with slimes. I gotta love that you keep bringing up the plumber class idea. It's very amusing. Like, and it's not beyond roguelikes to have kind of silly meme classes. And I don't know if that's how you see the plumber, but like an overt Mario reference, in my opinion, is a meme class. Like, that's what it would be there for. So if we ever want to do a meme class, you better believe I'll be thinking plumber first. Give him the ability to jump. If he could jump one single tile, so like the Insectoid's dash, but with a brief levitate effect, you could jump single tile gaps. A roadie class. That's really funny. Somebody really likes Brutal Legend. I wonder who it is. Who could it be? Sonic Attack. Well, a bard is something that I would like to develop ideas for. I think any sort of charisma caster is something that I'm interested in. And sort of the ultimate charisma caster is a bard. But I also think that, you know, like a paladin can be well regarded as a charisma caster. So in any sort of like holy symbol casting, I think is good. I think having like holy symbols that cast spells, I think, is a great use of charisma. Things like Turn Undead is sort of like a classic use of charisma to have a magic effect. So, you know, most players know that charisma is like the game's weakest stat, and I think that's fair enough to judge it that way. And so having items that you can cast from that use charisma as their primary scaling component, and having those items be meaningfully powerful in gameplay, like decisive in gameplay, I think is something that I want to try to figure out for DLC 3. Charisma casting via lore would be weird. I don't think so. Not if it's based on using an item, like invoking the power of that item. Could give an item that uses charisma for casting instead of it. Stealth bard. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting from your idea there, Ink. Okay, let's rotate this. I think, yeah, it's the exterior corner that I believe we need to deal with here. Okay. Oh my gosh, I misclicked on this. One of the things I like about Barony is that no tool is unusable by anyone. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And so to have something like a holy symbol that isn't based on magical knowledge, it's based on your personality's connection with the deity. And in another game, that might be, you might use a stat like piety instead. But like D&D, it doesn't have a piety stat. I think that charisma is a suitable and well understood stat to account for that kind of thing, using force of will, force of personality to create magical effects. I think it's appropriate. Okay, so I want 1, 2, 3, 4 from the edge. Charisma impact trading, yes. I think it's just charisma plus trading skill affects your discount percentage. And so it's just like how you know, intelligence is effectively equivalent to one magic skill when checking to see if you can learn a spell. I think it's basically like that. One, two, three, four. Am I really just one voxel over? Okay. Let's go ahead and delete one voxel then. One, two, three, four is what we want. Tried to be sneaky and ask on the server about it, but I can't outsneak Mr. Sneak. Real talk. No one can. Okay. Are you guys familiar with the potion seller meme? It's an important meme, so I need to know. Potion seller. I'm going into battle. I require your strongest potions. Sorry, traveler. You'll have to find a potion seller who sells weaker potions. My potions are too strong for you, traveler. Potion seller, I'm telling you right now. I'm going into battle. And I require only your strongest potions. It's like I said, traveler. You can't handle my potions. You better find a potion seller that sells weaker potions. Thank you, Pegasus.
Potion seller. I am going into battle, and I want your strongest potions. My potions are too strong for you, traveler. Potion seller. I tell you I'm going into battle, and I want only your strongest potions. You can't handle my potions. They're too strong for you. Potion seller, listen to me. I want only your strongest potions. My potions would kill you, traveler. You cannot handle my potions. Potion seller, enough of these games.
Enough of these games.
I'm going into battle, and I need your strongest potions. My strongest potions will kill you, traveler. You can't handle my strongest potions. You better go to a seller that sells weaker potions. Potion seller, I'm telling you right now.
Right now.
I'm going into battle, and I need only your strongest potions. You don't know what you ask, traveler. My strongest potions will kill a dragon, let alone a man. You need a seller that sells weaker potions. Because my potions are too strong. Potion seller, I'm telling you I need your strongest potions. I'm going into battle. I'm going to battle and I need your strongest potions. You can't handle my strongest potions. No one can. My strongest potions are fit for a beast, let alone a man. Potion seller, what do I have to tell you to get your potions? Why won't you trust me with your strongest potions, potion seller? I need them if I'm to be successful in the battle. I can't give you my strongest potions because my strongest potions are only for the strongest beings and you are of the weakest. Well, then that's it, potion seller. I'll go elsewhere. I'll go elsewhere for my potions. That's what you'd better do. I'll go elsewhere for my potions and I'll never come back. Good. You're not welcome here. My potions are only for the strongest and you're clearly not of the strongest. You're clearly the weakest. You've had your say, potion seller, but I'll have mine. You're a rascal. You're a rascal with no respect for knights. No respect for anything. Except your potions!
Potions.
Why respect knights when my potions can do anything that you can?
Alright, that was Potion Seller. I freaking love it. It's so bad. It's so bad. And so good. It goes on for like 3 minutes, but it feels like it goes on for an eternity. And I really just can't get enough. I'm going into battle right now. I'm telling you. Well, I think we all had fun, didn't we? We're all having a very good time. Alright, we've successfully come up with the corner scaffold replacement, which is named Bridge Scaffold Corner. Export. Bridge. Scaffold Corner. Hi, Garvican. Yeah. So there we have it. That was Potion Seller. And it's, especially now that we have Alchemy in Barony, it's just like, I think about it so often. Like, anytime I sell or buy a potion in Barony, I'm thinking of that video. I'm going into battle. I'm telling you right now. And now I've cursed you all with it. That's true. I have done that to you. But, to be fair, it's very fun. And so it's worth it. It's worth it to me, and that's what matters. Finally, something we can all agree on. Okay, so, with this one done, I'm going to be stuck on a loop. Maybe. I very well may be. And I'll get really close to the camera. I'm telling you right now. So with that, I've redone all of the ones that I showed you yesterday. That is 1183. And so they should all now load, which is a big win. So let's take this one and do 1183. Do this. And we'll do this, and we'll rotate it so that it's going north. So we can witness the glory of the corner. The glory of the corner. Save. Add a reference to the game from the video. I mean, I've proposed one. I don't know if it'll make it in or not. We'll see. So load models. Ba-ba-ba. Alright, then we'll restart the level. And then off the edge here, there should be a corner. Did I not orient this properly? I didn't. Oh, wait. I just need to... Disease that way. Okay, I've just rotated that the wrong direction. So we'll... This needs to not be going south. It needs to be going east or west. Okay, it's facing south right now. And it needs to... It needs to face north. It needs to face north. Ding. Save. Restart. There we go. That's doing what we want it to do.
Someone new.
Beautiful. Beautiful. This scaffold is doing everything we wanted it to do. Perfect. Okay. So now all we've got left to do is to make this drawbridge look more like a drawbridge. Yeah, thanks, Ink. Yeah, you can see all these scaffolds. They've all been dutifully arted out. Let's like take away this torch. Yeah, I dig it. I like it. Okay, so we're gonna make edge pieces that sort of round off the corner here, and where the beams round up to be the edge of the bridge, and then there's also going to be a chain attached to it that's going to go all the way there. So that's what I'm going to whip together here as we finishy the bridgey. And actually, I need to modify the bridge piece that's in there right now. We'll turn off the kit. We're going to turn off all this stuff. We're going to load in the bridge wide master. Boom. And then we're actually going to... Okay, this is sort of a go at what I'm expecting the end to look like, but I'm actually not going to use this because it's using the old palette. But I'll use it for reference, so let's get it out of the way. Whoop! Didn't mean to flip the model around. Okay, you're up and out of the way. Bridge wide master. And then I want this brace to be in here. So there's some problems with this brace. I need a darker color. Like this. And then like this. I want this brace to be 4 voxels wide instead of 2. That's what I'm doing right now. To overly explain myself. I've noticed that in Voxel Shop, if I do a copy paste, but I've since undone a lot of the, some work, Voxel Shop actually doesn't remember exactly what I copied. It remembers the mesh, but not the voxel colors, which is really sort of odd. I think it's odd anyway. Enough of these games. So, something like this. Okay, so my potions are too strong for you, traveler. To a merchant's dialogue would be easy enough. That would be, except for you'd want to push it on the potion shop only, I would presume. Although I guess if he's not selling them, then it's kind of it might be appropriate. Might remain appropriate despite him not selling potions. It's fair. It's a fair possibility. Makes even more sense if he doesn't sell potions. Okay, this is going to need to be flipped like that. Nope, not like that, like this. And then we're going to eliminate the 4 voxels here. Too many. Gotta get the angle just right. Alright, looks like we've done it. Good, good. Destroy. Oh, goodness. Oh, I forgot to deselect. Ugh. Alright, gotta do this again. And the last one is... I've caught too much. I'm just trying to delete 4 rows of voxels here, and it requires me to line up the camera perfectly, which is just so much fun. Alright, that did it. Delete. And then we're going to move this over. And that is correct. Boom. Alright. Alright. Close enough. The quietness is relaxing. Oh yeah? How about this music? Sorry. I forgot. I know that you weren't asking me to turn it on, but it did make me realize that I forgot to turn it back on, and now I've turned it back on. And I apologize for crushing your piece. I really do. But if you want true silence, you can just mute me. No more Orpheus ASMR. Okay. I've grown to like trolling you. No, it's just I would have turned the music back on anyway. But I'm having fun. I am having fun with you as I would anyone, which I assume is a good thing. Cut. Destroy. Paste. Paste. Okay, so let's try exporting this as bridge wide. Export, and we'll see the broader bridge brace. Actually, yeah, that looks a lot more like a real brace. It actually kind of looks a little bit like a railroad track, which is not intentional, but it's also, yeah, not the worst thing in the world for a mine. I could duplicate those top two voxels. I need to drink from giggling too much. Okay, so let's keep on with this. We'll get rid of 2 more voxels and duplicate these other ones. The fact that Voxel Shop doesn't seem to have orthographic projection views is upsetting. Yeah, it has them, but it only lets you view a slice. So I can view it from one side, but then if I select it, it just selects a slice. And I need it to select everything, so it is a little annoying. Something I have to work around somewhat frequently. Actually, I did this wrong. Let's go ahead and select the entire height of this. So, boom, and then maybe like this will feel more like an iron brace instead of like a railroad track. Let's see how that goes. Say that a cross section is non-orthographic projection. No, I agree. I've ever heard of I know what a sabaton is, a piece of shoe armor, but if sabaton means something else in this context, I've never heard of that. Yeah, so we've got, front, top, left views, and they don't call it orthographic, but it is sort of like, because every other 3D modeling tool has that, I kind of expect it to be orthographic. It's a band. Oh, okay. That makes sense. No, I've never heard of a band called Sabaton. All right. I actually think this looks way better. Looks much more like a brace. So I'm gonna roll with this. The shading is like a little noisier than it needs to be. But if it's something I end up caring about once the whole bridge is done, I might go back and revisit it. I'm pretty happy with it right now. Like, wrought iron should not look smooth, you know, so I think it's okay. Okay, so now that piece is done. I can make the end pieces Swedish power metal, metal heads. They love metal. That's really cool. I know that the Swedes love their guitars. Okay, we're gonna call this Alright, cheers, Ink. It was good to see ya. Yeah, Death Clock was great, Pegasus. Freaking loved it. Okay, cheers, Pegasus. Okay, so what you see that we've done here is I've made a like a big like mount that for a chain to attach to, and so the chain is going to be a completely separate mesh that I'll repeat a few times. This will make this model no longer symmetrical, so I may have to offset it a few times to get it to look correct, but that's okay. And then I'll flip this model to create a bridge wide front L. So why don't we go ahead and save this? Yeah, let's save it. We'll call this file export bridge wide front R export. And let's go ahead and front R front L. Okay. And we'll go ahead and make the L version now. We'll take the L. Okay. So this is what the end of the bridge looks like. It's not super arced, but I think it's got enough of an arch on it that it feels fine. Okay, and we'll turn that off and then export this. Export, okay. And then we can go into this here. And what this is 8.5 and 8.6 respectively. So we're gonna do and then we're gonna X offset. We're gonna have to X offset these. I'm pretty sure of it. So front R is gonna have to be offset to the right. Let's go ahead and offset it by 8 to the right, and we'll do this one 8 to the left. And we'll just see where that leaves us, and we'll adjust from there. Iterate. And of course, it's like very wrong. What did I do? What did I do? Do I need to load models again? Something wrong. Let's just I may need to reboot the game. This is 1186, 1185. Yes, that should be correct. It is a completely new mesh compared to these other ones, which were not completely new, so it could be that my colors are wrong too. Let's take a look at that. I mean, I doubt it, but let's take a look. So we'll do a clear and then get. And then, no, these colors are great. Nothing wrong with the colors. Well, I mean, other than I painted this wrong down here. So I can fix that in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and relaunch Barony and see if the problem persists.
Someone new.
Okay, it did require a game restart, so I'm glad I learned that. Now I've just got to make some map adjustments to put these in the right spot.
Another mortal landmine to assess. Someone new. Another one joins the fray. Another mortal landmine to assess. Another one joins the fray.
Okay, we got this lined up properly now, but I think that it's not enough. Like this last board looks sort of like it's not really purposeful where it is, and it sticks out really far. Like I think it needs to be a little narrower. Obviously the chain attachment I think looks really good, but in general I just think that it should taper at the end a little more so that when you're walking up to it you can see that the drawbridge has you know, like a tapered shape to it. And so I'm gonna make some adjustments to the model and then re-export. Yeah. Well, Voxel Shop has made it difficult to rotate around because I'm not really sure what criteria it uses to determine where my pivot point is. And therefore how to adjust it. So I've tried to make the front, the last step of this bridge, look a little more you know, unique, tapered, so that when you're approaching it you can really see the difference. All right. So, due to family circumstances, things may get a little chaotic around here, and I don't know how much longer I can stick around, but I'm gonna do my best to make it to the end of this work that I'm doing, because I'd really love for y'all to see the payoff of that. Okay, so we've made some modifications to this. We can kind of make this look a little bit more, you know, dangerous by having some gaps between the floor and the bridge. You know, like, it's not dangerous, but we can give the player a sense of, like, they're stepping into their first risk even by crossing this bridge. And I kind of like that thematically, so I don't know why this came undone, so let's cut that and paste it back here. And okay, so now we're going to re-export this. And again, we were just doing a very minor model change to make it so so that this would look a little bit more like a tapered drawbridge at the front, because right now it's just too subtle of a difference, I think. So let's do load models. We'll get a little model update. You know, small difference, but that's all we were really looking to make. And if, like, let's say we start here, we start walking up, we can kind of see that last platform is like a little bit... I think I should make that shorter as well. Let's make that a little shorter on each side, that last plank. Let's do that. I just think it'll look better. Okay, I think that is like a distinct enough front to the bridge. You know, I think as you're approaching it, you'll see the bolt. You'll see a little bit of taper on the model. I don't know. We'll see how players react to it. But I'm very happy with how the drawbridge looks right now. Let's get a chain model in here so that while I still have time before my kids start creating nightmares for me. And I'm gonna create what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the chain models on this side of them, this tile actually, and you know, they won't have any collision on them, so they can't be super thick. So otherwise, it'll be obvious that they don't have collision. And who knows? I may actually end up using these meshes for other things, so it could be important to have some chain meshes that make some sense. So. You know, I tried out doing a chain model last night and putting a little nuance into the mesh itself, but it ends up just sort of looking like a coil of vines or something when there's too much going on in the shape. So I'm going to try to keep the shape as simple as possible, and it's going to be hard because the chain is inherently a complicated structure. So I think what I'll do... Oops. No, that's good. I think, why can't, there we go. It's so weird how this program works sometimes. I think I'll try to paint it on over here, and I would like it, each chain section to be 32 long, and maybe rising by 20 voxels with each tile. So let's start like over here, and I guess the chain might latch onto the top here. And maybe something like that is a good basis for the mesh. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high. So I could give it a larger rise by doing something like this. Something like that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high. Now let's see what we can get away with. Let's cut this from that layer, create a new layer called chain. Paste. And then I want to make 6 long, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if I take this and I step it up 1 here, let's do this a little differently. Let's do the front 2 and then the back 2. So yeah, the ones I made last night, sort of like, they had like a twist to them, and I'm kind of considering doing that again. Like if I move this one here, and then I move this one here, then it has like a little twist to it. Even though the shape is pretty simple. And then if we duplicate this like this and then like flip it, then we would like alternate every other one of these links is like that. And so let's save this and try to put together a chain link out of these. And you know, these aren't painted yet, so try to reserve some judgment. So this is why it's important for them to alternate, is because otherwise we end up with a off-center chain. And now I need to grab the original link, which is, come on, right here, boom, and then take it to the next level. which I believe is right here. Actually, we might want to push it over like that. Yeah, I think this is right. Oh, darn it. I did a move instead of a duplicate. It's alright. Duplicate. And then we'll move this one in place. And this will be like a full cycle here. So we're like alternating. In a way, we have 4 unique links. I need to change the background color because y'all can't see this hardly at all. I can barely see it, so I know you can't. Like, I'm not in love with how this looks. It looks a little strangely stair-steppy, but it really does look like a chain. And so I think that's probably the more important quality. So let's change the background color to something quite a bit brighter. Okay. So, let's create a new layer and duplicate this to here to kind of get a sense. All right, so this is, and one more down. Good, good. Actually, we can move one more forward like that. All right, and so now you can see we have this like stair-stepping effect where it goes left, right, and this these links go facing right, facing left, facing right, facing left. And so that's actually 32 voxels already. So let's put this right here. And so now, oh my gosh, darn it. We're a little bit higher than, dang it. We're a little greater than 32 voxels wide, which is unfortunate because I really want to create a 32 voxel loop. That said, it is creating a 32 voxel loop because with it loops in 2 voxels further, but one of those voxels would be over here, over this. So we still do need one every 32 voxels, one of these meshes. So let's just experiment with that. Export. We're gonna call this. Just call it chain. Just call it chain. In case I do another kind of chain later, I'm gonna say bridge chain. Okay, bridge chain, and then right here we're gonna add bridge chain. Save. Save. And then we're going to. I think I need to restart Barony because we found before that it would not load the models. Alright, so we'll start this up again.
mortal at my doorstep. Ah, another one joins the fray. Another mortal at my doorstep. Ah, another one joins the fray. Someone new. Ah, another one joins the fray. Ah, another one. Another mortal at my doorstep. Someone new.
Okay, so through some aggressive iteration, I've been able to find a good placement for this chain. And I actually do think it's convincing in terms of looking like a chain. In fact, the more you look at it, the more it looks like a chain. I think I would like... obviously, it needs to be shaded, and I think that'll help a lot. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to duplicate it 1, 2, 3 more times to see where it ends up lining up. And I'm going to have to raise it 32 voxels each time, maybe. So, this is going to be like, what, 4? Oh, actually, no. Height offset. This is going to be like 30. So let's see where that puts us. We'll see if 32 voxels is the right number, or 32 units. Looks good from here. Yeah, I don't see a misalignment. So we'll do 32 again and 32 again. Restart. Okay, so I think I'll get rid of the last one, and instead I'll come up with a new model that comes out and attaches to the chain, because that last one can't sit there properly. But man, that looks so cool. It looks really cool, in my humble opinion. So let's get rid of that last one. 94, that's not what we wanted to take, is it? Oh, I see. This one needed to be gone. And then, so yeah, we'll have to come up with some kind of attach point to the wall. And we can actually build a model just for this purpose. It won't take long.
Someone new.
I really dig that. All right, let's get... I need to wrap up the stream, but let's go ahead and get the other side of the chain put in place. And I just need to sort of duplicate the logic onto the other side. See 2 chains. Yeah, dude, look at that! Woo! That's super exciting.
Another mortal landmine.
Okay, so once I shade that mesh and then create a little attach point up there so it looks like, you know, some kind of... It goes into some kind of pulley system. Then I think the sort of drawbridge look will be complete. And what's fun is that we'll be able to make some things in dungeons that make use of this mesh too if we want to. But that just looks, I don't know, that looks so freaking good to me. So before, I guess I'll leave this level as it is because I would like to keep my reference for what voxel heights these things are offset to. I'm going to keep that until I've duplicated them across other levels. Man, I don't want to be like an egoist, but I'm just like constantly... I'm just admiring how this looks. It's very convincing. That's really good. I'm really liking it. Alright, folks. Well, with that victory at our backs, I need to go and be responsible for my kids because my wife is out, so... thanks for sticking around for another bridge development stream. I'll probably be working tonight because it was kind of a short day for me today to get all these things put in the game. So I'm not sure when the next time I'm gonna stream is. There's a chance I'll stream tomorrow, but if I'm gonna be doing footage capture, I'll have to think about whether I want to try to stream that or not because it could be kind of weird, but we'll see. Yeah, so for those of you who are hanging out, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming around. And I hope you have a fantastic freaking Tuesday. Cheers. Bye.